welcome everyone to the Maryland STEM College and Career webinar. I'm so thrilled you could join us today. So let me just really quickly run through some information for everyone. So I'm with the Center for Excellence in Education, which was founded in 1983 by Joanne DeGennaro and Admiral Rickover, father of the nuclear navy and civilian uses of nuclear power. Our mission is to nurture high school and university scholars to careers of excellence and leadership in STEM. And we offer 3 cost-free programs to students and teachers in the United States. The first is the Research Science Institute, second is the USA Bio Olympiad, and the third is the Teacher Enrichment Program. Research Science Institute, or RSI as we call it, is a highly competitive 6-week summer science and engineering program open to rising high school seniors. So students apply in their junior year. And it combines on-campus coursework in scientific theory with off-campus work in science and technology research. Participants do well at the big high school STEM competitions like Regeneron, with many going on to advanced STEM degrees. I recently learned that about half of our alumni go into medical fields, which I thought was pretty cool. And we have a surprising number of lawyers. Registration, I believe, actually opened last Friday. So if anyone is interested in applying, the application is open and those links are on our webpage. And then we have the USA Bio Olympiad, or USABO, which is the nation's largest biology education and testing program. It's open to any high school student, and it's just a series of examinations on testing knowledge of biology concepts. Top 20 attend national finals for 2 weeks in June, and I believe we will be doing that in person at Marymount University, with the top 4 from the national finals going on to the International Biology Olympiad. We have a really great number of student and teacher resources, and they're really great for honestly anyone who's interested in learning more about biology and biology topics. Registration for students in schools is currently open, and when I send out another, thank you for joining us email, I'll make sure you guys have the links to that program information. And lastly, we have the Teacher Enrichment Program. And our big mission is to try to connect teachers with experts from academia and industry, and really just try to get teachers some resources and some information on kind of what's the latest and greatest in STEM, since it is constantly evolving. And this school year, we are doing virtual Bites of Science, these college and career panels or webinars, a monthly event called the Square Root of STEM, which is actually the second Tuesday of every month. And next month we are exploring what's next in space travel. So we'll be hearing from an expert in habitat design and another, and the chief scientist for a research group in University of Central Florida that works with regolith, which basically space dust, and what they can do with that. We also maintain a lab bench website where where all of our resources and videos from events are posted. And if anyone is ever interested in getting in touch with a STEM professional, please let me know. I have a wide network of people from industry, academia, the government, and I'm happy to connect you with whoever I can. And for those of you who went to our old website, we have a new website, so I'm super excited about that. And this is what it looks like. So when you, and we have all sorts of resources and videos for people to watch and explore. We have a lot of really interesting presentations on there. And I thought today we could start with a little bit of information about Maryland workforce and industry, especially as it pertains to STEM. So these are some facts that I found today. So, three big industries, and I'm sure there are more, are biotech and life sciences, cybersecurity and IT, and manufacturing. There's over 3,000 biopharma companies in Maryland. And I mentioned this because we have Illumina here today with us. Illumina Solution Center opened recently in Baltimore, within the past couple of years. There are over 400 cybersecurity companies in Maryland, as well as a number of government agencies dealing with cybersecurity and IT. And there are 103,500 manufacturing employees in Maryland. And I wanted to add that there's a lot of manufacturing along the I-81 corridor, just over the border in like Pennsylvania, West Virginia, or Virginia. One of the largest Procter & Gamble factory, like production facilities, is actually right over the border in West Virginia in Martinsburg. And then just another fun fact is Lockheed Martin is the second largest employer in Maryland. So with that intro, I will turn it over to Ellen Flowers-Fields, who is the Associate Vice President of Continuing Education and Workforce Development with the College of Southern Maryland. So with that, Ellen, you can take it away.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining this discussion. I'm going to give you a bit more of a global interview about workforce training opportunities throughout the community colleges here in the state of Maryland. So let me get my presentation started here. Just want to talk a little bit first about the College of Southern Maryland. CSM, as we affectionately call it, is one of 16 community colleges throughout the state of Maryland. And these community colleges are an integral part of the post-secondary educational system. Maryland's community colleges offer a vast array of continuing education and workforce development programming designed to meet the needs of individuals, small businesses, and government, as well as corporations. Working collaboratively with a myriad of stakeholders, including our K-12 partners, we forge a strategic direction to empower learners with the knowledge, technical skills, and adaptability to meet the needs of Maryland's changing economy. At the College of Southern Maryland, we believe workforce development is economic development. And for the past 63 years, CSM has served our community with far-reaching goal to help our students meet the challenges of individual, social, and global needs. CSM offers an array of associate degree programs, industry certifications, career training, as well as personal enrichment activities. And CSM prepares students for transfer to bachelor's degree programs and provides the tools and resources needed to immediately succeed in a competitive marketplace. In FY20, CSM had an enrollment of about 19,000 credit and non-credit students. And over the past 5 years, we've awarded over $1.5 million in scholarships. And that's not including federal financial aid. It's just scholarships. Students completing their first 2 years at the College of Southern Maryland save an average of $29,000 on the total cost of their education. So there's certainly value in attending a community college. The Maryland Association of Community Colleges recently released data that supports the economic value of Maryland's community colleges. 1 out of every 33 jobs in Maryland is supported by Maryland's community colleges and their students. For every $1 students gain $3.30 in lifetime earnings after obtaining a degree or industry recognized credential. The average graduate will see an increase in earnings of just under $10,000 compared to someone who holds a high school diploma alone. Middle skills jobs are the fastest growing in America. I don't believe that's a secret at this point. But Maryland's community colleges have over 100 degree and 175 non-degree programs for those seeking to advance their knowledge and skills. In FY20, the community colleges realized a decrease in enrollment. The pandemic certainly factored into that greatly. But of the 317,000, just a little over, students that were enrolled at our community colleges, 50% of them were enrolled in career and continuing education programs. Many of those programs in the STEM area. 38,052 students were enrolled to obtain a license or a certification. Almost 43,000 were enrolled in some type of a lifelong learning or a vocational program. And we also have basic skills and literacy courses that support GED completion, ESL, English as a second language, and just almost 30,000 students completed there statewide. And 60,000 students that are currently incumbent workers with over 600 businesses throughout the state of Maryland participated in some type of professional development contracted training through Maryland's community college systems. Looking at the various types of workforce training and skill development opportunities that there are, in FY20, you'll see that there were just over 11,000 individuals that completed training and obtained an industry recognized credential. The majority of those credentials were obtained in STEM-related occupations, with healthcare accounting for 23% of student enrollment statewide, business and IT accounting for 11%. Various degrees and certification are obtained in the fields of biotechnology and other areas of the health sciences, including nursing and various allied careers. Cybersecurity is very big programs throughout the Maryland Community College system, as well as computer sciences as a whole, as a discipline, engineering science, fire science, and general information technology studies are the growing fields that both students are interested in and that we're working to build stackable credentials for. As you can see, there are numerous opportunities for STEM education throughout Maryland's community colleges, and assisting students in meeting their short and long-term educational goals is managed through the development of career and educational pathways, which embrace the philosophy that's presented here on this slide. Every particle of life, every investment in education at every level matters. And a lot of the initiatives that I'm going to just touch upon this evening, you probably have some familiarity with. When we talk about stackable credentials, we believe that starts in the K through 12 system, certainly with the high school diploma, but also with young people who are looking to do early college and dual enrollment, obtaining that high school diploma while getting maybe a certification through CTE, or attending college and getting college credits, whether it's AP or dual enrollment classes, all of those credentials stacking and moving towards higher education completion. Credit for prior learning initiatives, especially as we begin to look at the adult learner and using experiences, real world experiences that they have and how they're applicable to the competencies delivered in college coursework is another thing that the community college systems are doing to help move people forward towards completion in all kinds of careers, but certainly in STEM careers. Articulation and matriculation agreements. I could not get this data statewide before the presentation today, but I can tell you that the College of Southern Maryland offers 200 transfer agreements with 60 partnering universities in and outside of the state of Maryland. I would fair to say that our sister community colleges probably have similar statistics, maybe even more. Some of them are larger than we are. So there's a lot of opportunities for young people attending community colleges to matriculate into four-year institutions and have their credits accepted by those institutions because of these established transfer agreements. Guided pathways and stackable credentials are part of the fiber of the way our course program and delivery is structured statewide. When a student comes to the community college system, part of the conversation they engage in very early, in addition to what program they're going into now, is what are their long-term goals? And those long-term goals really help to make the decision as to whether the program they're going into is something where they can build in certifications, letters of recognitions, or certificates along that pathway to their AA degree. My provost likes to refer to this process as building on-ramps and off-ramps. So no matter where a student begins on their journey, whether you start in an AA degree and decide you want to get a certification, leave and come back to school later, or if you start with the certification, come back later and decide you want an AA degree, We want all education to count, every piece of your educational journey to move you further along. The community college's mission, first and foremost, is dedicated to student success and meeting the needs of our regional workforce. And we do that through strengthening the talent pipeline and ensuring equity and diversity. I would say 98% of the programs offered through the community college systems do not have barriers to entry. The exception is often our healthcare and some of our engineering programs, which both require a certain level of skills and testing in the math and sciences area prior to entry. However, the majority of other programs really allow an individual to come in and hone in on those skills that they may need to develop to be successful in the industry areas. We're also very focused on the talent needs within our region. While there are some overlap and similarities in programs offered throughout the community college system, you'll find that within each region around the state, each community college has very unique programs that they offer that are tailored to their local labor market and demand. I just want to stress that with all the information that I've shared, there's one takeaway that I hope that you can remember from this conversation, is that community college is a strategic partner that is equally committed to the success of every learner in your community. And like runners that pass the baton on to the next, we certainly are striving to make the transition from high school to college as smooth as possible. And we welcome your partnership and your insight and support as we work to continue to build bridges and not walls for our students. And I will make sure a copy of this presentation is released to you, but there's some resources, a lot of the data points that I talked about today, which I chose not to bore you with on long slides. I hope I gave you something pretty to look at. The data points can be found in the Maryland Association of Community Colleges 2021 annual report. There's a link here, but I'll also make a PDF copy of it available for you after today. So thank you very much for the opportunity to share.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to hear the ways in which community colleges just are trying to reflect the workforce needs that are out there. Because I think, as I've talked to STEM, and hearing some of their challenges, it's nice to hear. It's really phenomenal to hear that, that's all of that is local in a way. So it's not, which I certainly think reduces barriers. So thank you so much, Ellen. And with that, we will take it to Clarisse.
So my name is Clarisse Betancourt Román. I am currently working as a field application scientist for Illumina, and I'm located in Michigan. And I'm going to give you an introduction about Illumina and our commitment with our community, specifically with the students that we're aiming that they will be our future scientists, right? But before I do that, I want to give you a little bit of an introduction about me and how my journey up to be part of this company. So again, my name is Clarisse Betancourt. I am currently located in Michigan, but my bachelor's degree was actually done at the University of Puerto Rico in environmental sciences and a minor in geography. After that degree, I took a year off where I worked at the university for a period of time. And during that time, I applied to get my master's degree. And I came to Michigan hello? Oh, sorry. And I came to Michigan to work on my master's in ecology and evolutionary biology. Overall, I have roughly 10 years of experience in research, and I have been working at the intersection of microbiology, molecular biology, and environmental sciences. I had done a little bit of everything, and I will share with you what I have done during this last 10 years. As I mentioned, I joined Illumina as a field application scientist in Michigan, And I joined this team in November 2019, so right before COVID. A little bit about me. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I am the first generation of my family to go to college. So there was a lot of challenges that I encountered before, during, and after going to college. And Spanish is my native language. That's why you can hear an accent. So I mentioned I did my bachelor's in environmental sciences and a minor in geography. And during that time, I was really lucky to participate in a lot of research experiences in different labs at the university and also outside of the university. So in 2009, I'd applied to a week program at Texas A&M, where they were focusing on working on a software called ArcGIS. And through that week, I learned how to use this software kind of like in a lot of details, right? And from that experience, I was able to work that upcoming summer on a research here on the bottom left side with nonprofit communities in Puerto Rico. Nonprofit communities in Puerto Rico are the communities that are not linked to the government water resources. So these are local communities that they have their own overflows, water resources, and their own wells. And we help them through this project to generate GIS locations and maps for all of this water resources and their wells, so they could then move forward with other applications to keep them up to date in their kind of like logistic to keep their wells up and running to their communities. I was also, during that process, I met these two other undergrads students that were working on the same project, and they introduced me to other researchers that were working at the university. And by that, I was able to join the limnology lab. And in that laboratory as an undergrad, I was doing a lot of things that sometimes people don't want to do, right? Because they're kind of repetitive and kind of boring for more advanced researchers, but it was a total new experience for me. So I did a lot of data entry and water processing. And as it was a limnology lab, we were working with insects in water. So I learned a lot about identifying different insects and things like that. And after that, in the same lab, I was able to focus on a specific project where we were going on the field or to different communities to conduct field work. So we were collecting samples from soil and different vegetation in areas adjacent to a river. So we were also working with the community to help them identify this vegetation and to try to identify those that were invasive species and that could be causing harm to the fauna and the other species in those rivers. So I mentioned that I was able to do internships in the university and outside of the university. So two of the internships that I did outside of the University of Puerto Rico was with NASA. So during the summer of 2010, I was extremely fortunate and lucky to go to the Marshall Space Flight Center, where I was able to work on a project where we were modeling watershed and watershed and hydrodynamic modeling to evaluate the impact of land use change and climate change in the aquatic ecosystems in Mobile Bay. Mobile Bay is a bay in Alabama, and this was a really amazing project. I learned a lot. I was able also to interact with a big group of undergraduate students, as I'm showing up here. And we were also able to meet astronauts and other people that work in the center. And then later on in spring 2011, I applied for a second internship with NASA. And this time I went to the Goddard Space Flight Center, which is located in Maryland. And on this project, I was still working with land use change, but we were actually focusing on another analysis or work that we called remote sensing. And we were classifying those images and the areas around 2 national parks in Delaware to identify the implications of these changes in the ecosystem inside of these 2 national parks. And again, it was a really great experience. I got exposure to different researchers and to different research that was going on in the center. And I was also able to interact with other people that were doing their undergraduate degrees in other universities, and kind of like it started my network really early on in my career. After that, I started my master's at the University of Michigan. This is the pictures here on the top left. I started my degree in 2012 and I finished it in 2014. During my master's, I focused on host microbiome interaction. So I was focusing on an amphibian fungal pathogen called a chytrid fungus, and I used frogs, nematodes, and blue crayfishes as my model to study the virulence of this fungus. And this is the kind of like the introduction for me to microbiome and specific molecular techniques that we were using in the lab to conduct my experiment. After that, I started working as a research assistant at the Biology and the Built Environment Center at the University of Oregon. And there I was working, as I said, as a research assistant, focusing on indoor and human microbiome projects. I was working really close with undergrads, grad students, and postdocs, helping them with their project design down to sample collection, processing, and processing their samples in the lab, as well as working with next generation sequencing libraries, which is what I support in my current job. After that, I started working as the laboratory manager of the microbiome sequencing core at the University of Michigan. Here I have a picture of the group that I worked with. That was the first time that I worked managing people, so that was really challenging and a learning experience. But we work directly with researchers and other external customers, where they were sending us their samples and we were responsible to process them, sequence them, provide them with DNA sequencing data for their projects. And from there, I applied and I joined the Illumina team as the field application scientist in Michigan. And here in my position, I provide service and support to our customers, and my customers are now all the laboratories, companies, startup companies, or already pretty established bigger companies that are using our instruments or any library prep or any product in our portfolio. So I serve as the liaison between our company and these research labs. So I provide instrument and application trainings, and I also support them if anything doesn't go well or as expected. So there's a lot of customer service and interpersonal skills that go into my current job as well as a scientific background. I'm also extremely committed with outreach in my community, and these are just some of the pictures of the events that I have been really lucky to be engaging with. Some of them I have been engaging since 2012 and 2013. This kind of event that Illumina provide for external members of the community to participate, as well as our employees to participate, it's great. And yeah, I just wanted to share you some of the events that as Illumina does. We we encourage our future scientists, right, to explore and to explore their curiosity and to consider the STEM careers for their future. So here more about Illumina itself. So the power of genomics and what can we do by knowing your genome. So we can provide insight into predispositions and symptoms. We could help inform proactive health management and lifestyle choices, suggest conditions for which your children might be at risk during your pregnancy, guide drugs choices, and also provide personalized choices in care. Illumina is an applied genomics technology company making genomics useful for all. We are over 7,000 employees, and our headquarters, it's located in San Diego, California, and our company was founded in 1998. As I mentioned, our headquarters is located in San Diego, but we are operating globally. We had our solution center in Baltimore, and we also have other centers in Foster City, Hayward, and Madison, as well as in other countries across. Our mission is unlocking the power of the genome to improve human health. And the why we're here, right, and why we have that mission is because we believe that genomics will change everything from how we diagnose and treat cancer to feeding the world population. And by partnering with educators, we can inspire the next generation of sequencing scientists, engineers, and innovators. These are some of the programs that I will want to highlight as well. So we have virtual resources to educate and inspire teachers and students of all ages, including DNA Decode and the Illumina Genomics Discoveries. And that's all I have today. I will make sure to share these slides and these links as well with you at the end of this call.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Clarisse. That was so interesting. I really enjoy what Illumina does, and especially with just all of the really exploring a lot of the applications of genomics. It is wild.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. And lastly, we have Nick D'Antonio.
I'm thrilled to be here. Nick D'Antonio. I am a senior workforce strategist at Lockheed Martin based out of Bethesda, Maryland. I'm excited to share a little bit about myself. I don't actually think that you're probably super interested in me because I am in corporate HR and I support workforce development programs. I can talk a little bit about what that means, but more excited to share with you a little bit about Lockheed Martin as a company, and maybe what's most important for you all is ways that you can get involved or students can get involved with the corporation, because I have a lot of cool different ways that you can get involved. So Kim, is that all right if those are the pieces that I hit on during our time?
Fabulous.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, I will jump in and I will try to keep this short and efficient, especially the background about me. So again, I'm Nick. I've been with Lockheed now. Actually, today is my 1-year anniversary with the company, and I absolutely love it. Lockheed is one of the greatest places in the world to work, and super proud of the work that we do. My office is based out of Bethesda, Maryland, but I actually live in Asheville, North Carolina. Currently, my major focus with the corporation is around workforce development strategy. So we support our 5 major lines of business, which I'll talk about in a second, in developing workforce development solutions to meet their talent needs. Big piece of that is around our community and technical college pipeline, which I'm very, very proud to get to manage for the corporation. We'll talk a little bit about that. I also manage our 2 corporate signature scholarship programs, which I hope to share a little bit more with you today, because we'd love to get more student applicants out into those scholarship programs. It's also a great way to get into the Lockheed Martin pipeline. Other work that I do with the corporation, if you're interested in my little bit of background, is I do work a lot on federal and state training incentives that support Lockheed Martin's training. We also do a lot of work in collaboration with community colleges like career apprenticeship and pre-employment programs, and a lot of that work sits under my portfolio as well. Previously, I spent a little bit of time at Amazon as a digital skills program manager, working to support the general cloud infrastructure talent pipeline. I also did some work at United States Department of Labor as a senior analyst in their Office of Apprenticeship. For that, I was a partnerships director in the philanthropy for Koch Industries, and then I started my career at the National Association of Manufacturers, always around workforce development and education, specifically in touch labor and manufacturing. I went to college at American University in Washington, D.C., just finished my master's at Washington State. I am also a talent fellow with the Jobs for the Future, which is a cool program to learn how we better partner with community colleges as large corporations. And a couple fun facts about me: I am the chairman of the Lockheed Martin Pride Business Resource Group. I am an advisory board member at Northern Virginia Community College for their engineering and technology division. I don't have any kids, but I have 2 cats, and my wife's name is Emily. So that's a little bit about me really quickly, but I am the boring part of this presentation. What I'm really excited is to share more about Lockheed Martin, because I am a super passionate Lockheed Martin employee, and I wear this company with a lot of pride, because we do get to sit sort of at the leading edge of scientific discovery and doing really cool work to support our nation, the protection of our nation, and the protection of our nation's allies. So we always like to lead with that our vision is to continue to be that global leader, supporting our customers' missions, strengthening security, and advancing scientific discovery. And there are more than 115,000 Lockheed Martin employees. This slide is now outdated, the majority of which are engineers, scientists, and technologists, working in almost 400 facilities nationwide, supporting operations in 54 countries and internationally with more than 7,800 employees. I have a number of employees on my team here at Lockheed who have had secondments and placements internationally. It's one of the coolest pieces about the work that we get to do. Tomorrow, I'm on a call about our continued training and operations in Indonesia. So our work is expanding globally as we support more of the US's allies, and it's a really cool component of the work that we get to do. A little bit about who we work for, at least within the United States. Our major customer is the federal government, so our focus is the Department of Defense, Homeland Security, but we also do great work with the Department of Commerce, Energy, State and Transportation. Obviously, our space division does a ton of work with NASA. Even some of our facilities are co-located with NASA, so really cool work that way. Especially in the DMV and in Maryland, a lot of our work sits with the intelligence agency, and there's 3-letter agencies. We have a lot of Lockheed Martin employees on site. And again, we support our allies across the globe in various capacities. What most people don't know about Lockheed Martin, though, is that we are actually 5 different business areas that make up a whole company. So many folks are familiar with the F-16 and the F-35. That all comes out of our aeronautics division. They do all of the work as it relates to our airplanes. Sorry, I'll do my best to answer questions as we go. We have an entire division around missiles and fire control, which is the development of missiles, rotary mission systems, which includes Sikorsky helicopters, and also all of our work around cybersecurity and computer engineering also sits within RMS. And then space, which is everything from satellites to what we send up to the space station to the moon, all sits within our space division. So there's so many cool areas depending on your passion of where you might want to get involved with Lockheed Martin. And the company, in terms of geographic location, something I love about it is that we're all over the United States. There's a high concentration in the DMV in terms of both facilities and office space. A number of us now work remotely. As I said, I work remotely from North Carolina. But depending on where you want to be and what you're passionate about, there is absolutely opportunities across the United States for Lockheed Martin and for folks who might want to come to work with us. And then lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't at least mention that, when we talk about being at the cutting edge of innovation, there is so much truth to that. Right now, if I look at our major focus, Mr. Jim Takelet, who is our CEO, he is stressing sort of this focus on what we call 21st century warfare and how do we continue to bring our armed forces up to speed with the commercial emerging technologies. So right now, some of the major focuses, and I've been fortunate enough even to work on some of these projects from a workforce and talent perspective, are focusing on things like artificial intelligence and autonomy, directed energy, hypersonics. I was recently on recently being in the last hour on a discussion around 5G and how that impacts our military. So really, when you come to Lockheed Martin, you are sitting at the cutting edge of some major technologies and how it intersects with not just our armed forces, but most of our federal agencies. One of the cooler projects that have been released recently is that we've had an ongoing partnership to support the U.S. Coast Guard around how do we combat forest fires. That is directly linked to the work that our Sikorsky helicopter team is doing. So there's just so many different implications of the work that we do and what you might be able to get involved with if you are interested in Lockheed Martin or supporting students who might be interested in careers at Lockheed Martin. So that's a little bit of background about the company and myself. And what I would really like to do, and I do this typically by sharing a couple of links, is just talk a little bit about ways that you can get involved with Lockheed and how you might be able to show, students who are interested or other educators who are interested, a little bit of background information about the company and ways to get involved. I'm going to just do a quick screen flip here. So first and foremost, Lockheed Martin has an incredibly robust internship program that targets students who are currently pursuing baccalaureate degrees or currently pursuing associate degrees. This becomes one of the most significant pipelines that we have into employment opportunities. Our enterprise talent acquisition team works consistently to transition these students into full-time opportunities and to ensure that the internship lasts the full duration of a student's post-secondary education. Our internship cohorts open every single fall, so the opportunity to apply is still actively available. The internships and co-ops are also field and discipline focused. So last year we were able to have specific cohorts focused around areas like hypersonics, women in computer science, and this year we'll be developing specific internship cohort experiences around 5G and other emerging technologies, giving students who are not even necessarily studying, but have a passion for those particular areas, an opportunity to have real life interaction with those technologies in a workplace setting. So it's a phenomenal opportunity. I would love to share out the LM Jobs internships page because this is both going to provide background information on the internships and also where that for students can also have an opportunity to apply. Every year we open up somewhere between 1,700 and 2,200 internships. So again, a really fantastic opportunity, and there's still a number of roles that are waiting to be filled. The other opportunity that I wanted to share is that we continue to also flesh out a strategy for supporting community college students as they look to employment opportunities at Lockheed Martin. For those community college students that are migrating towards a transfer pipeline, meaning that they are looking to move from a 2- to a 4-year institution, they will be well served around our Lockheed Martin internships. But for those students who are in applied associate degree programs or programs that are terminating after the 2 years, we have now expanded community college hiring opportunities, especially in the DMV. For the students who are in the engineering aid related disciplines, the engineering aid role that's coming out of our space division is one of the coolest opportunities I will say that I've seen. It focuses on putting community and technical college graduates working directly with our systems and infrastructure engineers within our commercial space division. It's one of the best opportunities to get into Lockheed Martin if you're graduating with a 2-year degree. And then Lockheed Martin also now has a fairly robust tuition reimbursement program so that if students do want to continue to complete their 4-year degree or even sort of a graduate level degree as well, there's up to $10,000 or $12,500 a year available to them to support those students. I will say I'm actively working on this project with the space team around this community college hiring initiative. If there are students in the DMV that you're aware of who are interested potentially in looking at these types of careers, we would love to share that out because the pipeline right now, we need a fairly significant pipeline and the requisitions are in the couple hundred. So we'd love to share that opportunity out with students who might be interested. Additionally, under the same vein, if your focus is a little less on the engineering side and more on the software or cybersecurity side, our software associate degree program targeting similar students at the 2-year level is another really awesome opportunity. This type of program will focus on a 3-year cohort-like model where students come in as they complete their associate's degree, get 3 years of on-the-job learning and related instruction experience with Lockheed Martin supporting the teams within our space division around software and software development. And then we'll have the opportunity to transition into full-time roles, full-time employee roles, not the associate degree program at the completion of the program itself. This program is also actively hiring in the DMV as well. And then lastly, and I know I've gone super quick, but I'm going to wrap up with one other piece that I'm really excited to talk about because it is my program and I love this program, is our STEM and Vocational Scholarship. So this upcoming year, we will reopen the STEM and Vocational Scholarship for 2- and 4-year students. The STEM scholarship for baccalaureate students, it's a $10,000 award that's renewable up to 4 times. And then our vocational scholarship, which is for associate degree students, certification students, or certificate students, and it's a $5,000 award. Both of these programs are open and available. For students who are interested in applying, the STEM scholarship will award 200 new scholarships this year to students attending an accredited 4-year institution or who plan to attend an accredited 4-year institution beginning in the fall of 2022. The vocational scholarship is for anyone attending an accredited 2-year institution or who plan to attend a 2-year institution in the fall of 2022. So high school seniors are eligible to apply. What's most exciting about both of these programs is that we do actively steward and cultivate both the scholarship recipients and scholarship applicants towards employment opportunities at Lockheed Martin. So even if students just take the time to apply, the application probably takes about 45 minutes. It does put you into an opportunity to hear from Lockheed Martin around career opportunities, including internships, apprenticeships, full-time opportunities, and other ways that you can get involved with the company. And then, of course, we'll award 350 scholarships between both scholarships this upcoming academic year. There are a number of schools in the DMV on the 4-year and 2-year side that are priority institutions. So, if you know those schools, contacts at the schools or students at the schools would love to make sure that they have access to that scholarship information. And again, this is going to become one of our sort of critical strategies for continuing to steward students into Lockheed Martin and keeping them aware of the opportunities that exist at the company. So I'll take a deep breath. I hope that this was informative and I provided some good information about Lockheed and the opportunities to get engaged with the company. I'm here to be a resource. And Kim, I hope I didn't rush through that too quickly and that was a helpful presentation.
That was fabulous. Thank you so much. And I am definitely very, very pleased to share out any of that, anything with teachers. I have an entire network of teachers who, like to hear from everyone. So I guess we can get to some questions. And actually, this is great since I have both Nick and Ellen with us. So I'm going to ask this question a slightly different way, actually, so in terms of cybersecurity career pathways, I've heard a variety of them, and I didn't know if one or both of you wanted to speak a little bit more about kind of what does that look like? Because I know certainly a lot of people are trying to get 4-year degrees, some people get certificates and are still successful. So anything you can share about kind of those cybersecurity IT pathways? Sorry, I guess more educational pathways.
Sure, I don't mind speaking to that, Kim. I think the wonderful thing about cybersecurity as a pathway is that it's very, very fluid. You heard me speak earlier about on-ramps and off-ramps. There's an opportunity for individuals to pursue AA degrees as well as a myriad of certifications. Several years ago, the community colleges around the state of Maryland received a federal TACT grant, which was really focused on establishing cybersecurity pathways and defining that throughout the community college system. It was very successful. And as a result of that, there are really a lot of opportunities for individuals to pursue. We have pathways that are leading down the road in digital forensics, which really prepare individuals for computer hacking and forensic investigator type of certifications. And then there's courses that lead towards network security, which help individuals who are looking to become a Cisco Network Associate certified. And then, of course, the standard CompTIA certifications, ethical hacker certifications that are and information assurance programs. Individuals who begin to take these certifications are building up their credential towards AA degree programs. And statewide, the community college systems support the pathway of these certifications, including, I'll add one more, the PMP, which is Professional Project Management certification. Those pathways can lead towards academic degree in business or information technology services. So individuals who start off obtaining those certifications and want the degree can do that. Individuals who are pursuing the degree have various of these certifications embedded. I'll just mention one or two more certifications that are there. I have a whole list at the risk of being redundant. There's the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner, the Cisco CCNA certification, as well as, and forgive me, this last one, I'm not sure, that's the computer hacker. I said that one already. So yeah, those are the ones, and those are the ones offered through the community college systems.
Awesome, thank you. And Nick, since from your perspective with Lockheed, since Lockheed does a wide variety of cybersecurity, IT sorts of things. I don't know if you could speak a little bit about like sort of the pathways into those types of careers.
Yeah, was the question around cybersecurity specifically or more broad to IT?
Either way, I mean, I think that there's certainly, some transferable skills there. And I think probably broad would be helpful because I think certainly for some students, they like computer stuff, but they're not sure kind of where they want to go.
No, for sure. So I will say this, on the cybersecurity side, we are working actively to be able to be more inclusive of a broader population of students, to include non-4-year degree grads in our cybersecurity candidate pool or pipeline. It's a little bit more challenging because of some of our customer requirements, but that is a vision and a goal of ours moving forward as we begin to develop, say, a cyber junior analyst role or similar roles where associate degree students would be a good pipeline. That is all to say that currently of students who have a cybersecurity passion, they have a passion in defense or military or things related to what Lockheed Martin would work on. Right now, they would still be on the 4-year pipeline. I will say, though, some of those other programs that I spoke to, our engineering aid program has a heavy focus both on 2 and 4-year hiring, and those are in roles around software, programming, drafting, and that might be a really great fit. I would also say that it's worth taking a look at our software associate program, because that program also has a really strong alignment to IT-related fields and what type of path you might want to take to be able to get there. The one other piece I'll state, I didn't talk about this program, is we have a program out of Manassas, Virginia called the Manassas Talent Program, to actually targets high school students and community college students who might be interested in roles that are engineering related, but also touch on sort of computer science related fields. So those would be some good avenues to explore. And then to Ellen's point, we do really value industry certifications as sort of part of our recruiting effort. Students who come in who might have, say, an AWS cloud practitioner certification, who might have their project management certification, previous, maybe credentials from CompTIA around Cloud Plus or Sec Plus. I mean, those credentials would be very valuable to us as well. So it's a bit of a vague answer just because Lockheed's so big and it might look different depending on the business area or team, but those types of certifications and a lot of what you can gain in terms of education experience at a community or technical college really right now is quite valuable in terms of the types of candidates that we're seeking for roles across computer science and IT.
Awesome, thank you. Then another question we have here is, Clarisse, I think this is more directed towards you. With Illumina and all of the work they're doing on genomics, sort of, I don't know, could you speak to some of the careers that are available?
So there are a variety of career options. You can become a genetic counselor. You can work in genomics as a researcher. You can work on a clinical environment, meaning like you will become one of these nurses or doctors that actually use the genomic information in order to move forward. The decisions, right, in terms of medication and things like that. I'm also going to put this other link here, which I think will be good. This is from the National Human Genome Research Institute, and they also have a few list of careers that your students can choose to go in genomics. So there's a lot to do. There's also bioinformaticians and data scientists, so that will be more with the data, the genomic data, right? We're processing, analyzing, and trying to make conclusions out of it. So it's a big field, so there's plenty of options.
Awesome, thank you. And I did actually have a couple of questions. I got to find them that got chatted to me instead.
Oh, sorry, I realized that I sent it to the host and panelists.
Oh no, it's fine. I copy pasted it right over. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I've run enough of these events to be able to catch those. Let me see here. Actually, Ellen, I guess what would you say in terms of sort of what you're seeing in your work? What are the most needed, needed fields?
Oh, it's interesting.
I know it's a tough question.
Well, it's forever changing, and then it's not. The fields themselves remain pretty standard. So Maryland's economy, if you compared it to 10, 15 years ago to now, the economy is similar in terms of the industry representation that's here. But the skills within those industries have changed because of technological advancements, if that makes sense. So we're constantly evaluating and enhancing curriculum to ensure that the latest technologies, the latest improvements in learning are included. Everything from augmented and virtual reality technologies to just project management methodologies to critical thinking standards. And so there's an ongoing conversation that occurs with industry as they see these changes in technologies within their fields. And as we look at entrepreneurship and the growth that Maryland is seeing amongst small business owners, we're starting to really see innovations that are spurning off of what DoD is doing in the state, what healthcare is doing in the state, and we're watching those closely in order to stay abreast of the growth and the trends in those areas. So it's I believe what we're starting to see is a more robust offering, and you're going to see community colleges doing more with micro-credentialing and digital badging, so that as these new competencies get developed within these standard academic structures, that an individual can come back and then gain a specific competency to build upon their academic development.
Awesome, thank you. And I guess, Nick, in a similar vein, what kind of, I guess, like from where you're sitting, what are, I don't know if there's like skills gaps that you're seeing that maybe might be interesting to hear about?
This is a tough time, I would say, across the entire corporation in terms of like it's all roles. I really think we're struggling from our facilities teams around industrial maintenance and sort of our general facilities maintenance teams. Our production workforce has pretty significant needs, but then when you look at some of the more advanced technologies, I mean, we are struggling right now for sure around cybersecurity, especially around cleared cybersecurity talent. I mean, that's actually a really important point I probably should emphasize, is that majority of Lockheed Martin careers, if you're going to be working on product or customer facing programs, you're likely going to need a security clearance. One of the pieces that becomes a really significant challenge for us is that you can find great talent, but if they're not clearable, that we lose them in the pipeline. So one piece that I might stress here is the value of educating students on the security clearance process early. And when we talk about early, we talk as early as freshman year of high school, because decisions that they make at 17 and 18 will influence their ability to get cleared into their 20s and 30s. So we when we talk about a skills gap, one of our most significant ones is around cleared talent, and that goes across different disciplines. So one piece what we've worked hard on with our teams across the country, but especially here in the DMV, is how do we get further down pipeline to talk about the importance of clearability, regardless of what occupation you want to go into. And I have actually some really great resources from the Fort Meade Alliance, because they do so much work with the NSA. I see you laughing, Kim, so maybe you guys are familiar.
I was about to ask if you had any resources. So
yeah, no, we got great resources. And actually, I would offer a second. We have a really awesome security director here at Lockheed, a gentleman by the name of Gary Kowach. He does an amazing presentation on security clearances for students that's applicable from 9th graders all the way up through master's level students. So if you have an audience that you think would value hearing about the security clearance process, he doesn't do it from a Lockheed Martin perspective. It's very general, but it talks about everything from wire clearance to what happens if you consume cannabis once in your life. I mean, it really does cover all the sort of details and nuances that people need to know. So anyway, Kim, I apologize, but the answer is that we see a skills gap across a lot of different areas. The clear population is the biggest one, but when we want to talk about skill area, especially skilled cyber talent, it's hard for us right now to find really high quality skilled cyber talent with the additional need of folks having a security clearance. So I hope that was a helpful answer.
no, thank you. That is actually very interesting, because I would imagine, if you don't know that's, in order to work for a defense contractor or, the US government with clearance and cybersecurity, then you are going to run into some issues there. And since we're almost actually out of time, I have one more question for everyone while I pull up my closing slide. And that is, what's the best advice you can give anyone who is joined our event today in terms of encouraging students, finding your own path in STEM? So I'm interested in what your best advice is.
My advice is don't be afraid to explore the various opportunities and start early. Nick mentioned high school. I'd say in middle school, once they have an interest in creating and exploring, talk about the various opportunities, bring them on field trips to community college campuses. Connect them with STEM fairs and careers so that you can see the possibilities. I think too often students might think, I'm not good at math or I'm not good at science, so this can't be something I can do or would be interested in. For more young people, once we really get them excited and they see robotic arms and they see mechanical systems and electronic systems and they see a healthcare lab, the possibilities open up to them. And so expose them as much as possible and connect with your partners to give them that exposure as early as possible.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would echo what Ellen said. That has been also my mentality, kind of like apply to things, give it a try, see if you like it, explore it. And you will always learn something, either if you want to continue doing it or if you test it and you're like, meh, that's not what I want to do. And I don't see myself doing this for a long period of time. Like you're not wasting your time. Every opportunity you do, especially earlier on, you're going to learn from it. Either if it's in the path to, it will always move you further, right? Like you will learn what you like, what don't you like, and as you continue progressing with your career, you can know a lot more about yourself, so you can put yourself in situations and positions as well that you feel more comfortable doing. And like when you get into other positions, job positions or any personal positions, what you like and what don't you like, and that will help narrow down your next moves.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to echo something that Ellen said also, and I'm going to speak from a Lockheed Martin perspective. And we are going to be ramping up our collaboration and partnerships with two-year colleges significantly over the coming years. And I think that we find that oftentimes the message that gets communicated to high school students and middle school students is to begin them on this sort of four-year pathway or bust, especially when it comes around engineering. But for us, we're going to be heavily investing in the way that we collaborate with community and technical colleges around engineering related fields. And I think that exposure to industry will come with collaboration with community colleges. So to Ellen's point, if you can bring students to a community college campus and organize it so that industry is there as well, and frankly, speaking for Lockheed Martin, we'd want to be there. I think that you can expose students to a really awesome pathway, also one that frankly is probably more affordable moving forward, but we'll still give them equal opportunity and accessibility. That's another piece. There's the accessibility piece around community and technical colleges. You're getting this because this is what I'm super passionate about, but the more that we can show students that community and technical colleges are a viable pathway to really awesome careers, I think the better. So, and then companies like Lockheed are going to stand behind that and are going to hire behind that as well. So that would be my advice from my side.
To close out, thank you all so much for presenting today. If we were in person, we'd all clap for you, but I'm just thrilled that, the information that you shared and also the investments that community colleges and corporations are making. And I also need to thank our sponsors for this event, which are Akamai Technologies, Amazon, Amgen, Arnold & Page, Legend Charitable Foundation, BAE, Gilead Sciences, Illumina Foundation, Jack Cook Foundation, Jacobs Engineering, Lockheed Martin, Psychomedics Corporation, Spark Therapeutics, TC Energy Foundation, Vulcan Materials, and Westrock. So with that, thank you all for joining us this evening.